Hi folks, this is 7/10 minutes with ARKHILITE C. Thanks for joining in, thanks for tuning in. Today we have a very special guest, Jessica Wong from SCENE SHANG in the house. Thanks again, Jessica, for joining us today.
Yeah. Hi. Actually, this is my office with the.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're like blending in, and it's really beautiful because there's this gold flicks of like painting of a abstract version of a mountain behind you.
You're right. I actually painted it because
you painted this yourself.
You're supposed to have as a leader of the company, you're supposed to have a very strong Kaoshan behind.
Oh, got it.
It's not complete, but yeah.
Also, you're going to complete this.
Work in progress.
So you're going to do like touches like every other year.
Perhaps, yeah. We'll see how it changes.
It reminded me of a friend when I first started having my office, and then somehow I was like having this globe, because I'm like fan of maps and so on. So a friend gave a globe to me. Then she said, "Oh, if I give a globe to you, it means that you'll be like everywhere, like go international." So yeah. That's something which is interesting. Thanks for joining us, Jessica. SCENE SHANG is one of the really, at least to me, but I'm sure it is to many of your fans as well. You'll be surprised, but maybe you're not, because you'll be expecting that. but really, I think it goes a long way. Still relatively young a company, I would say, not like decades old and so on. But the impact is there. In fact, I would thought that I would use the word wow, like wildly impactful, because that's really the way which I see it. There's like so much that I want to like chat up with you today. One of the first things is really to share with us the story. I'm sure many who are tuning in right now already know the brand, but to just to a free person who does not know, or the 10% of people who are like tuning in who doesn't know what SCENE SHANG is, would you like to like just really give like a 1, 2, or 3 minutes introduction of the brand and the story?
Okay.
Maybe just about the brand, and what is it that you do? The story, we'll talk about it.
Okay, sure. As you mentioned, we're not a really old company. We've actually about 5-6 years now, depending on when you want to start accounting lah. Okay. So basically, we started. Me and my co-founder Pamela. This is the story part. We founded SCENE SHANG actually in Shanghai. We did this because I think both of us, we really love what we have as we really love Chinese or Asian culture. Because we did an internship there, and then I think that really exposed us to the rich culture that was there, and that was also similar to what we have in Singapore. So I think that really awoken us, and we felt that this was an opportunity to create a brand that actually has its designs which are contemporary but yet inspired by all these rich cultural touch points. So SCENE SHANG is a furniture and homeware brand that has these designs which are contemporary but with the Asian touch.
Awesome. Thank you for giving a nutshell. I think the story is really interesting, because I almost wanted to interrupt, so I stopped myself, because I wanted you to give like an overall scope of the business that you and Pamela are very much in. You talk about interning over there, as in where? There as in where?
Both of us actually had an internship quite a long time ago in Shanghai. And we actually
what's the internship about?
I was working in a sort of like a advertising agency, small outfit.
All right.
And Pamela was working in the bank there.
Okay.
That was our internship. I think that period, that was a really wonderful period of time that exposed us to culture, because I think when you're put in a different place, then you start seeing, you start being able to see things differently. I feel.
Do you all know each other before going there, or you met each other when somehow you're having the internships are separate, because she's in banking and you're in marketing, so the internships are separate. You are schooling then, the two of you.
Yes. I actually knew her since I was 17, so it's quite maybe more than more than
But it's
more
such a
than half
coincidence
my
because
life ago.
thereafter you all chatted up and decided to pursue something that while you are there, so
Yes.
it gives you the opportunity. But at the same time, before you went there, this is not in the plan.
It was not actually. In fact, we came back and then she joined a bank and I was doing interior design. And then we realized that okay, you know, I think there's something else that we can do instead, something that we really love and something that we are very passionate about. And that was how we started SCENE SHANG.
Share with me a little bit more about the love, because we were like chatting up before the show, and you were enthusiastically sharing with me about your love for furniture which are crafted primarily in wood. So what is this attraction that wooden or timber furniture give you?
Like I was okay, so like I was saying, when I was doing interior design, I could see that my customers wanted some, like they would, okay, so you have to think about what to put together in the homes, and then you have to find what furniture they can put in. So you can see that they do appreciate like the traditional Chinese furniture, which is primarily made of wood, and I'm sure if you think about like your grandmother's homes or maybe even your own parents. So I'm not sure about us now because our age is slightly different from then.
No, my age is different from yours. I'm not worried about it.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about it.
And all these furnitures, as in I could relate to my customers. I think that those kind of furnitures are so beautiful because they last for so long, and they have this this, and it feels like it's so much of a part of our culture and heritage. And it felt a bit like at that point of time, I was like, it felt like, okay, my customers love all this furniture, but they can't put it into their homes today because somehow it doesn't look right, or the space doesn't fit, or not.
Especially now, right? Because in the past, there would be more, I would say, I mean, generally speaking, more wooden wood-based furniture than very much now. So now there's less, and therefore both in terms of material,
yes.
and now there's like so much of other materials which we can use, which kind of like simulates wood. You've got like flooring ceramics that's got wooden texture, and of course laminates and veneers and so on. But the fact that in terms of the general textures and the materials of the current home that we have now, quite the wood doesn't really necessarily will fit in as an like a huge and overall piece. Then of course the look and the form of these furniture as well, the traditional ones.
Yes, traditionally the furniture may tend to be either too ornate, or maybe there's a preference for heavier kind of look with like a darker tone and all that, which
like rosewood, mahogany, and so on.
I mean, those are really beautiful and all that. So it's just that it would not probably look right in an apartment or a space of our time. But so how like that? So does it mean you throw away all these things that actually have, I mean, like I'm sure your grandparents' homes look like that, your great grandparents' home also look like that kind of thing, you know, like are we going to throw all these away? No. So we found that there was this opportunity for us to actually put together like our put together all these cultural inspirations with a more contemporary perspective. So I guess that was how we felt convinced that okay, we can do something, you know, with this, you know, like we can based on our, I would say Singapore is quite a contemporary city. I mean, we're still quite young.
It is.
So we can use that perspective, and our, I would say also most of us are quite fortunate to be able to be exposed to a lot of things globally. I mean, we have the internet and all that. We can see, we are exposed to design from all over the world.
Absolutely.
I think that we have a very unique perspective. We know what matters currently. And yeah, so could we use that perspective to marry it with our appreciation for our cultural history? So that was
What makes you then want to like travel back to Shanghai to do the groundwork? Because distance is not that far, but it's like 6.5 hours to 7 hours, depending on timing and so on and so forth. Yeah, and then of course the language is not an issue. Cultural can be like massage and so on. But the fact that it's somewhere that is like quite far away, and therefore the possibility of or is it that when you all go there, you do not like harbor that much of an intent? Is really like trying to get as close as to the roots as possible, and therefore see what happens from there.
I think it was more like, actually we didn't have the idea for SCENE SHANG yet when we left Singapore. Okay. We went there, and then we I think
along the way you're all like discussing, right? Find a cafe, talk to someone, and find a cafe, let's check it out.
Yes. I think also at that point in time, I think it was quite hard to start the business in Singapore as well, because at that point of time when I was doing interior design, I didn't really know any. If you meet a carpenter, the carpenter only works more with like plywood and such. And to find a carpenter to work with solid wood at that point of time was not accessible to me. I think either it's just that they are quite rare to find, or they are so busy with so many jobs, it's very hard to get them to do something for you. Yeah.
But I would think that it would be tougher to venture somewhere that's so far. But of course, certain things will change the game. Of course, when like say during your internship, you already like have got some context or something like that. That can like is like a certain connection, not connection, but you're aware of people doing that in Shanghai.
No, honestly, we weren't. We didn't. We went there and we just started searching, like call up people and then.
Got it.
Because the thing is, the country, as in the or the resources available then in Shanghai, is so wide that you can definitely find someone.
You're pretty confident. You're pretty confident that you surely find someone who wants to talk to you. Who's got the capacity and the ability to do it and to talk to you, you and Pam as well. Got it. So when you were there, just now you were showing. Would you like to dish out the photo? There's some awesome blog that you were showing just now.
Yeah. So this is as I mentioned. So this was kind of like a journey. So this is okay. We do have a blog on our website. This is a recent post that we did. It just brings us. There is a bit of a mention of how we started and then how we got into doing the latest collection that we've done. But yes.
No, we'll go into that. We'll go into Rattan later.
We started with so this is a picture of Pam. The first
partner
that we actually started partnering with. I mean, there are a lot of people who we also met, but they didn't make it to this page. I have to make it clear. We did our ground. Okay. So I would say
heavy curation.
So his workshop was they did a lot of these carvings, and I think they were like, I personally didn't know then of people who worked with such, but actually I do know now that in Singapore that there actually are people who you can find for doing these things. But anyway, so we were very inspired by all these furniture, and we actually worked together with him and seeing what I could do to create our first piece, which was actually the Shang system.
Awesome.
So as you can see, actually the overall design references like the aesthetic of like a Ming Dynasty furniture, which are all these clean lines, but you can see that it's also very contemporary in that we don't make it like a carving, we make it like just very subtle shapes that suggest that look. So the overall look is that you can see that it's inspired by traditional Chinese design, but then yet it looks like if you put it in your super contemporary home today, it will look like it fits in there.
It will fit in, but at the same time it will stand out, right? Both ways, subtly, but surely.
Yeah.
So the Shang would you call it a Shang system? The Shang is for as in it's derived from Shanghai. The Shang, is it?
The Shang actually is derived from the word SCENE SHANG, the Shang. That means like I appreciate the Shang.
Ah, got it.
So actually, if you look at it, you can see like the word, something like there's a co here, then there is a something like that lah. Yeah,
Okay,
but anyway, the main point was...
That's interesting, really.
The
There are many layers, there are many filters, there are many
yeah.
ways which you can look at that.
Yeah. So
I also particularly like the many colors, you know, like the merit of colors that they can do, and it's stackable. There are a lot of thoughts that go into it. How's the design process like? You might have like evolved along this like 5-6 years, but when you first started with Song, how's the design process like? Because of course you're a designer, so you can. He can as well, but would you like be arguing over like how to do certain things and so on?
The design process,
because definitely Song will not be like doing this, right? I mean, he's still very much into the carving of the very ornate, but of course at the same time very expressive design.
It was very interesting because once, okay, so I always say that the part of the success of design business of my kind, I would say, like as we grow, is to find the right partner. Because when you find the right partner, right, they immediately understand what you're trying to do. And it is just a very mutually beneficial relationship where they give you their advice based on their experience on how to make the things better. And of course, there has to be a certain mutual respect. Like you respect him for that he has done this for so long, he should know the best way to do it. And he should respect us as the designers that like, okay, this is the essence of what you're doing. I'm not going to carve a cloud onto something like that, even though it's beautiful and that kind of thing. Like,
got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe something not so literal, but that's then when you were there, do you how long? I mean, how long does it take to is Song the like just when you mentioned there are actually quite a few that you all talk to, probably like curate, and then finally decide to say, oh, you know, this could be something, it could be a person or a company that you can carry on with collaboration for. Let's try it out, you know, for at least one collection. So you all stayed there, as in stayed in Shanghai to someone needs factory.
We stayed in Shanghai for about maybe close to 2 years.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Also, what happened during the 2 years? That's a long time.
I think it was really good because for really, it was good, but it was also of course very challenging for a young company.
Definitely.
Because you're so near to the makers, you can visit them every week to go and see that, hey, what's the change, that kind of thing. Because like such things require a lot of iterations to get right. So when it's so accessible, it does help speed things along. But of course, again, it's about there are also a lot of people who are not shown here that didn't work out, you know, that kind of thing. Like,
okay, of course. Of course, yeah. So probably like probably you found Song maybe like 3 to 6 months down the road. It could be something like that, isn't it?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. So during your 2 years, is the first collection the Shang collection born then?
In these 2 years, we actually did the Shang system collection.
Okay.
And then quite a few other things, mainly in like solid wood and also maybe some metals. Like you can see this some very simple side tables here, a bit of I'm not sure whether you can see the tabletop here. There's like a plum shape or hexagon shape. So basically, just very like abstracted geometry from like Chinese design. And then we came back and we launched
after 2 years. After 2 years.
Actually maybe about midway. We launched our products midway. And and then we went back to continue with overseeing the
production,
production and all that. Yeah,
that's interesting. That's interesting. Who is based here, or two of you are based in Shanghai, but you've got someone whom you can trust in Singapore to manage you have a retail shop then already?
No, then we didn't. Then we actually were selling from a pop-up store, and then we found that then people were coming to our space by appointment only, and then then there was an opportunity to open a 6-month store at Millennium Walk.
That's your first foray into semi-permanent in a way, space where you can exhibit your stuff, and then people be coming in and you can chat up for feedbacks and so on. How's the response like? Your first shipment or your first exhibit of the Shang system?
All the items that we shipped back for the show, they were all sold out, and we had more orders after that. So we were very encouraged. Okay, I have to tell you honestly that actually the night before the launch, Pam had a bad dream. She dreamt that nobody came to the launch and everything. And we were all very sad.
Did she like call you out in the middle of the night, or she waited until the next day? Then okay, Jessica, I've got something to tell you. Or she held it all the way to the end of the first day.
When she told me, but anyway, the point is that the launch came and there were so many people and we were so overwhelmed. So we were very heartened by all the positive feedback that we got from people. Were telling us that like, okay, this is really wonderful. I understand what you're trying to do, and like I really like what you're trying to do, and like I have imagined this piece, but I've never seen it available, and it is here now. So it gave us a lot of confidence and courage to continue doing it now.
That's cool. Because I think one of the there's so many ways. It's just fortunate in a way. Then of course knowing that there's something that went right, correct? Because the feedback is good, and then the turnout is good. The response is there. You're able to sell some, if not all, of the pieces that you don't have to go back and relay to Song the good news. So you were there for 2 years. Are you, in terms of the latest version, how many collections do you have?
I have quite a few collections.
Like 3, 4? That's something which I want to ask you. You can answer me. Do you have like something like in the fashion industry whereby you have got you have a like fixated calendar to launch your product?
Should I stop sharing the screen?
Yeah, can.
Okay. Of course. I understand what you mean by the fashion scene. Okay, that is something that we have always talked about. I mean, like, people always want something new. That is a fact. They want to see something new. They want to be excited. However, I think like with furniture, especially furniture, I don't think it makes sense to just rush and for the sake of like launching something that's on trend, because furniture shouldn't be that way. Like I think maybe like at the beginning already, we sort of realized that these are not things that we want to design and just like throw away, like buy for 1 year and throw away. People are not going to buy.
That's why I asked,
people want the piece to stay there and grow with them for quite a few years.
For a while, of course.
It's very different, correct? It's very different as compared to fashion. So it is our role to design something that can last and look great in the space there. So whereas, for example, maybe homeware would have a bit more leeway, like homeware, like maybe like cushion covers, tea towels, and all those. Those are just easy things to refresh a space. Yeah,
they could appeal to the different seasons as well.
Yes, that's right. So, and those things you do need to change, and of course those, so for those, the launch might be quite frequent. Usually we have every year we have maybe we do have one main launch for furniture. We might have other smaller launches that include homeware that could be seasonal. Like usually around Chinese New Year, we do launch some new like cushion covers and some other homeware. And of course, actually every Chinese New Year, we have our limited edition, red packet design that everyone covers. Let me see, where is it? Yeah, everyone. So those are what I mean. The print
I would love to have them as well. Quickly send
of course,
to me
yes.
tomorrow.
Now, we do send them to partners and all that. So we do. Let me see. This is this year's one. I don't know whether you can see.
Yeah, I can. It looks great. Looks
yeah.
good.
So we print them on very good paper, and like everyone wants. They will be like, I'm only gonna give them to the most precious people, or like. Yeah. So yeah.
Because you were saying it's very much related. The amount of collection is not so much predicated on season nor timing. It's as and when you felt that perhaps there's some inspiration that you have that comes along, or there's like a certain I wouldn't say demand, but to be able to sense what's like happening in the market, and then to see whether when you have a certain like a gentle or small rejuvenation, that's good as well, because there's progress, and then you're moving on. And because sometimes if we are just fixated on what we already have, and no less very successful launch and continuation of those items, then you will tend to stagnate. And stagnate in terms of growth is actually no good, and therefore there's this constant like moving around from far, as in from someone who is like keenly, I'm talking about me, like keenly interested in the in the things that y'all do. Also observe that you're very, very much on a roll. You have set up after from Millennia 6 months or 3 months, 6 months, and then you moved on to a like a boutique, and then you have like a headquarters, and then there is isn't there another one at Raffles Hotel?
Yep, there is. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's going on around? Is things like as smooth as I'm looking at? You want to share like some stories? Is there like some struggle, or really, or whatever I see is whatever that you're experiencing is just the curve is straight and diagonal and going up in terms of the liking and the demand?
I think what we always try to do is that I think me and Pam firmly believe that if the door is open, the door will be open.
What do you mean by that?
So for example, right, after Millennia 6 month lease, I think they did ask us to take permanent space, but somehow maybe the terms didn't work for us. So the door closed, but just nice, we weren't even really like looking, but we found a space that was available at Beach Road, 263 Beach Road, and it was rented out by the Lo and Behold group. And next door was actually Super Mama, and it's a shop house space. There's a beautiful light well and everything. We weren't really looking, but this door opened, so
great.
Okay,
pick it up.
Yeah, let's
roll
pick
along.
and work. And I think right now, I think that store has already built its kind of like destination. I think people do like to enjoy, like they walk around the area, they come into the store, and like
I was chatting with a client turned friend like last night, and she was sharing that because I was like giving heads up, I'll be talking with Jessica today, and then she said she said like after work and so on, or in between breaks, she'll be like popping up into.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah. I mean, we do want to provide to people that kind of space where they can just come in and soak in the beauty and all that. So and then for us, after we had that store and it settled into its own, building its own reputation and all that, we did think, what is the next step? And I think there were quite a few opportunities, but like I said, if the door closes, we won't really pursue. But for Raffles, it was that the door opened for us, and we didn't also actively go and approach them, because they were actually reopening the arcade. They reached out to us, and again, I always believe in working with the right partners, you see. So when you find the right partners to work with, and they understand, and we have mutual respect for each other.
In this case, the landlord.
Yes, in this case, the landlord. previously was the makers and all that. All these things, when we all work together, things will work out lah. I think that is the general spirit that we go with. Of course, there are also struggles. I mean, recently, of course, we know that the retail stores will not open, all that kind of stuff, everything. But I think we're happy also to see that, like, when our stores could open, people were already asking us, "Oh, is your store open?" and kind of thing. They do, and it's not like, they just want to come down and see. So I think that is also quite heartening for us. And mainly it's just to focus on all these wins and all these positive stuff lah.
Are your buyers mainly like private or people in the like hospitality or commercial sector?
We do have a mix. Of course, at this point now, our business is percentage-wise, there is still more B2C, but that we also do have like hospitality. Like, for example, recently we did the Shang House, which is a co-living space by Figment. That was quite exciting for us because we decked out the whole house in SCENE SHANG.
That's lovely, yeah. Able to see it, in the completeness.
Yeah, so that was wonderful.
Able to have some sort of control as well.
Yeah. It was wonderful, and then we also do some works for interior firms lah.
That's awesome. So one of the last thing I wouldn't like to end this, but we would have at some point in time. So we're gearing towards that. You have your latest collection. I would like to see some of that. Just now before the show, we're talking about the gentleman seat. Would you like to dish out?
Okay, let me just share the screen back again.
So while you're sharing, just fill in the folks who are tuning in. Your latest collection is very much predicated on the Teng, on the rattan. Something and where is it that you source, like, went to this time? In Indonesia, you were saying?
Okay, I think that the how this collection came about was that I think me and Pam, okay, so we would sometimes randomly just text each other even after work, and then like our friends would be irritated at first because why are we talking about it? But because we're just thinking all the time, right? So we keep thinking, okay, you know what, like, how can we, I really want to do something that's a bit more sustainable, like, how can I how can we do that? So I think one of the we went to search in Indonesia, also because we wanted to find like makers in the region, because you never know like what is I mean like, if you find the right partner, again, there is a synergy that can create something new. So we went in search for partners, and then we found this maker who so we went to Indonesia, the train ride, blah, blah, blah. People keep telling us, you're two girls, you're there to take the train, blah, blah, blah. But quite safe. I mean, we're quite safe lah. Okay, so anyway, so we went to look at how all these were done, and I tell you, there's such a wealth of all these materials. It's just that we need to see how to use them in a bit more contemporary way. So I think, okay, this one is a bit more of an old, more antique kind of design.
The traditional ones. Something that will still be in line with probably the locals. I mean, wherever that they're based in.
Yeah, you are right. So okay, so we of course. So we learned more about this material, this rattan. So rattan is actually a really wonderful material because it instead of chopping down a tree and cutting to the sizes that you need, right? Later we'll show you. You because it's like the chair leg has already grown for you in this diameter. You don't have to go and cut the tree down to this diameter. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's really wonderful in that the usage of the material it already makes so much sense. And then
there's very little wastage.
Yeah. And all these shapes are actually, if you look at them, they can be so clean and beautiful as well. Like all these the lines of the rattan. So maybe later I can I'll bring you into, okay, so you see people weaving the jigs that for the bending. Okay, so one thing is that rattan, unlike bamboo, is the core is solid, right? Therefore you can actually shape it into a circle like that. whereas for bamboo, it will crack lah. Because so you can create all these curves and all that. See this guy.
That's really interesting. I've seen this. You put it, I think, on Facebook or Instagram.
So it's quite amazing that you can form such a thing.
And then it holds up.
So this is part of this is the spine of the gentleman's chair. Let me show this to you in a while. So again, because you can shape rattan, you can bend. So we spend a few times just getting the shape of the curve to be ergonomic. We were testing on the spot there, and then
how do you get, sorry to interrupt, but just something that came to my mind. You somehow, Jessica, you made it, I sincerely believe so, but somehow you the journey in a way, both to Shanghai and to Indonesia, is like so fruitful. Like you go there, you're thinking of something, maybe that can happen, maybe it doesn't, but the moment you're there, somehow you willed it to, for certain things for certain outcomes to happen. The results are there. It's almost like, of course it's just 2 times, but there will be more, I'm sure. But the fact is that it's like 2 out of 2 that you go there and you come back not empty-handed. It's almost like, although you're like searching for inspiration or searching for working partners, but the window or the door, like how you would put it, would somehow naturally open. I think there's a lot of, I wouldn't call that as part of luck, but there's just certain makeup of you and your partner that's really open to suggestions, to ideas, knowing that this place, the answers are all there. It's about filtering, it's about deciphering what works and then what doesn't, and then to have your own input of your ideas, and definitely things will somehow come out from there. So that is, although you like what I said, you make it as if it's somewhat smooth and all that, but I think it's like some natural ability that you have. But share with me then another tip. How do you like convince the locals that these two ladies from Singapore all the way here, is it like some kind of a magic or some kind of things that you all do so that they take you like really seriously? Okay, they're not here just to just for fun or to take us for a ride, but something serious could happen. How do you like talk or negotiate?
Like what I said, I think it's about mutual respect. You respect their advice on certain things, and I think if they see that whatever you're doing makes sense. Of course, I would say again, it's about at the start, if you meet a maker that has that synergy and chemistry, all these things actually come quite naturally. Of course, there were certain things. Actually, I would like to talk about this gentleman cane chair.
Please, yeah. Can you use that as an example?
Yeah. So this guy who runs the factory, actually, he's quite experienced, so he's quite maybe in his 60s already. The thing is when you see
the guy like tuning the rattan just now?
No, it's this guy in the black pants. You can't really see his.
Okay, got it. Yeah, another time. Yeah, don't worry about it.
Yeah. So he knew what we were trying to do. He was like, okay, very good. Like you can I think there's an opportunity to design like furniture the way you all are, like referencing some kind of like Chinese culture, but then you all make it a bit more modern, that kind of thing. So he knew what we were trying to do, and he told us that.
So I was like waiting for you, like the night before, very much like what Pam had, but that's a wrong that's a very wrong indication. But for him, probably something that's correct.
Yeah, so he did like he told us that, okay, why don't you? I think you all need a lounge chair. You all are missing a lounge chair in your collection. So he actually sketched out some things for us, and like when I showed it to Pam, actually we were, oh no, like how can we tell him that this one still looks very old-fashioned? We can't do this like that, because he actually it looked maybe closer to what you saw on scrolling back to the top, a bit more so actually true. But he was very receptive when we told him, okay, actually I think it can be even better if we do this in a certain way. We change, and in the end, it was a very wonderful experience because there was a mutual respect, and then it resulted in this chair. So actually, the reason why we call it the gentleman cane chair was really because the moment because we were testing the furniture, the moment he sat on it, we thought, hey, like this feels.
That this is lovely.
It feels so like.
I adore this piece.
Like this because the guy in his 60s, he's really quite a gentleman. So when he sat on here on the chair, we thought, okay, we need to name this.
Oh, that's how the idea came about, the name. The
Yes.
idea of the name, and therefore then thereafter you pair it with
yes,
with the female version.
Yes. So I mean, like so as I said, this piece, so there is the oriental touch, but then yet it is quite, I would say it's quite contemporary, and the materiality actually is no longer solid wood, but it's a rattan that is from the Southeast Asian region, and everything put together just gives it a very different look.
Yeah. And you were also utilizing just when you're talking about it being solid, and they're of like different pieces. You can like one piece for each, and of course each are different, but the thickness of that, the sizes of that you have like carefully like selected, and it's solid as solid as it can get.
So you can see these arms and all that, like the arms, these are actually all made of rattan, and you can see the back here, you can see how actually they are made of rattan of various diameters. You just grind it and join it down together.
How do you join it? As in there's some.
You can see there's some dowels at the,
okay.
along the spine here.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Got it.
So I mean this chair actually was quite complicated to make. You can see also the legs here, how they
must have taken a while. You just launched it like less than a month ago. We refined the back here, the arm, the rest, everything, and I think, I mean, to me personally, it's quite a meaningful piece for us to have at SCENE SHANG. Awesome. The last question really, moving forward. I mean, COVID or not, not so much of that anymore, but moving forward, how do you think, because we talk about, this is one of the key things, very much what I'm really interested in, something that's more timeless, something, of course, trends and so on, they come and they go. There's nothing wrong with trend, because it talks about, like we were discussing about progress, and then the need for like humans at large, to be somewhat motivated by certain new things. But of course, at the end of the day, if there are things which are more timeless, and then we know safely that we're going to buy certain things, it will last, and then it could possibly be like handed over to even the next generation and so on, something that is more timeless looking. But having said that, what if certain ethos that we're very much talking about, like Asian influences, so far yes, not. But what if like one fine day it becomes like a trend, like of course now people are talking about Scandinavian or like North Europe kind of influences, styles and so on. They come and we rotate around. Sometimes there's Japanese and sometimes so on and so forth. But what about Asia? If Asian trends come about, are you looking forward to a moment like that?
I hope we are part of the trend. I do see more and more interest, and I think that it's the way. It is the way to go. I mean, like as Asia gets more, the whole of Asia gets more and more like progresses. I think that it's just natural that we want to design our own furniture, and no longer like have to use furniture that is, like as you said, that is maybe more popular now.
I think this is really interesting because, and thinking back, you folks would be the one of the, just when we're discussing to see whether you are the only one in Singapore that's doing it. Maybe yes, maybe not. That's not the most important thing. But the fact that someone has started, someone has really give this a very serious thought and go all the way to various places and doing it very hard, bring out the best that we can, fused with local craftsmen and then respecting the things which the craft which they already have, like doing it for so many years. It's just that over here in Singapore, things are like disappearing, like houses are disappearing, or old buildings are disappearing because of we fully understand the scarcity of land and so on.
Yeah.
But the fact that some of these furniture that it no longer fits in pains you and your partner, and therefore the brand is involved and born out of that like instinct, that certain things should continue.
Yeah.
Really like to again thank you and Pamela for the love and the enthusiasm to bring us all this lovely furniture, and certainly hope that in the months or even definitely in the years to come to have even more collection. We're talking about the breadth and the depth of Asian influences.
Yeah.
Lots of material that y'all can dive into.
Yes. Of course, yeah.
Thanks, folks. I think this is one of the most lovely conversation that I have with a guest and friend. So please, Pamela, Jessica and from Xinjiang, where is it that we can find you?
You can find us online. That's the easiest way to find. Xinjiang.com, or we have 2 stores, one at Beach Road, 263 Beach Road, or another one at Raffles Hotel Arcade.
Would you be there?
I do drop by, but I have a really lovely team who will be willing to and eagerly awaiting your arrival. 100%.
So folks, do also check out the latest collection from the Rattan series, and they're so lovely. All right, so till next week, take care.